It's pretty like impersonal. You're back there, especially with the spray tanning, where there's no hiding anything. You're getting painted, right?
Right.
And you're with all these gorgeous women that are absolutely perfect. Like, I mean, I've never been around more stronger, more just physical specimens of humanity ever. And everybody has a story. Everybody has things they hate about themselves or wish they could be better. And it's kind of like, why are we so hard on ourselves? Like, well, no, if I feel this way and this one feels that way, well, flush it, we're all great. What's the big deal? So that's kind of good to see too, is just to be around in that environment and realize that, it's not that deep. We're all just people.
Time to hit the gym, better do it smart. Get your own coach, there where you are. Start the day right, there in your home. With the smartest gym in the world, ready, set, go. Smart handle, smart bar, smart training, there you are. Customize, make it right, AI, form advice. Superset will show you what it's all about. It's a total workout.
Welcome to the Superset Podcast, episode 15. This is Crystal O'Keefe.
And this is Tom O'Keefe. Hi.
Hi.
So we were just talking before we started about how much you've been digging SmartFlex.
I have, yeah. I'm doing the program that Coach Nicolette put out. It's all SmartFlex all the time.
Okay.
And well, not every single move is SmartFlex.
Well, yeah, like if you're doing something on the floor,
that's not SmartFlexy.
Yeah, you can't make a dead roach a SmartFlex.
Right.
Is that what it's called?
No, it's called a dead bug.
Oh.
But I'll give you points for trying. You were close. You had one of the words.
And a roach is a bug.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Yes, I am loving it. You know what I really love about it is the fact that I feel like I'm actually getting stronger in my biceps. Like my biceps, I feel like I really struggle with a couple of, like with my upper body in particular.
Right.
And I feel like the overhead presses, the bicep curls, there's like one that's the middle fly or something like that.
I know this one. It's the Marty McFly.
No. There's like a chest fly that you do, and there's
the two fly for a white guy.
So anyway, the point being that I feel like all of those things have really helped my like muscles in my upper body. Like I can tell that I'm actually getting stronger.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. And
what do you do that when you feel like that? Are you like opening a jar?
Well,
telling me to shut up, and you're like, stop it.
No, I feel like I can carry things easier, but I noticed the definition in my biceps more, and my triceps have been sore after I do the tricep extensions.
Yeah.
In other words, I don't feel like a workout is working unless I'm sore. I mean, I don't mean like I'm sore I can't move.
Right.
But I mean like if I can't feel it at all, then I didn't
then what
do
did
enough.
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also this is probably the first program that I've done that I have consistently had to move weights up. Like the very first week I did it, everything felt pretty easy.
Okay.
Like I think a little too easy. So I bumped everything up, and I've been continuing to bump it up to the point that like it's a challenge. But now that I have this like base level of doing the moves correctly, I feel like it's a more genuine increase than when I first started. Because when I first started, I could cheat the moves. I knew, like, I wasn't trying to cheat the moves. I just wasn't doing the form properly.
Right.
And so I could increase the weight, but you
weren't doing it right.
I wasn't getting stronger, if that makes sense. And so now I kind of set everything back after we had our interview with Coach Nicolette, and then we had another interview with I can't remember if we talked to Kate about it or if we talked to one of the other instructors, but Coach Allison is who is coming to mind. I think it might have been her. Point being, we talked about the fact that like you have to settle your weight back if that's what's happening. I think,
gotcha.
And so after having those conversations, I did, and my strength score took a hit, but in the long run, I think it was the right thing to do. And I can actually feel myself getting stronger.
Well, that's good. I know that we went to cut down the Christmas tree last weekend. I didn't even strap it to the roof of the car.
I just threw it up there like a toothpick.
You just held it while we drove home. Just the whole way. Arm out the window, holding the Christmas tree.
It's an hour drive, too.
Yeah.
And that never happened.
You're like, I got this. Fly me to the moon. That's what it's called?
No.
Okay. Thank God it's fly day.
I think it's just mid-chest fly.
I don't think it is. I think it's one of mine. So what, pray tell, do you have in store for people this week?
This week we are going to talk about new challenges that are going on in the month of December. We are going to talk about virtual group workouts, some changes that have occurred on the Tonal, and some new store information as well.
Okay, well, awesome. Well, before we get to all that, shameless plugs, don't forget we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you find your podcasts. You can find us while you're there. Be sure and subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if you would be so kind as to leave a review while you're there, that's always helpful.
We would appreciate it.
For the people that come along after you to know that it's worth a listen. And you can also stay up to date with us throughout the week if you go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/Superset Podcast. While you're there, like the page, join the group. So there's all that. Let's dig in, shall we?
Let's do it.
So there were lots of little adjustments this week.
There were.
Like not tons and tons, but like lots of little things that'll make everything a little cooler and make your life easier.
Yeah, like one of the things that they've switched or changed up is now all of the workouts can be taken as a virtual group workout. So whenever they first released the virtual group workout, there were limitations to it compared to what there are now. For example, you could only have up to 10 people in a group. But whenever we did our big group workout on Thanksgiving Day,
right, there
were like 85 people in the group. So they have expanded that.
Okay.
And then also there were only certain groups, only certain classes that you could do as a virtual group workout. And now that has been expanded to all workouts. All of them can. And then you can, now they have all these new filters that they've added.
Yeah.
So you can look in there and see like, oh, is this a partner workout or not a partner workout? Is this, I don't know, I've taken it, I haven't taken it. So they made a whole bunch of new filters. So that's amazing.
Oh, sweet.
Also, there's a coaches page that they added where you can find out all about the coaches. You can understand who they are, what kind of workouts that the system will actually say, hey, here's workouts and programs that are trending. So you kind of know what's popular. And based on what you've already taken, they will give you examples. They're like, oh, you really liked this one? Here's some more things you might like.
So it's like Netflix.
Yes, it is like Netflix.
Like, oh, if you like The Crown, here's another show with accents.
Yep. That's exactly right.
Now you can take workouts with accents.
And crowns. You can wear a crown while you work out.
Sure.
Might hurt your head, though.
That's true.
Yeah.
Especially if you got to lay down on the bench or something.
Yeah.
That could, I think we need we need one now where Coach Nicolette just doesn't fake British accent for the whole thing.
Oh my God, that would be amazing.
For the whole program, and she shouldn't explain it to anybody.
Just do an entire program where she has a fake.
Suddenly she's just like, hello. Hello, governor. We're going to have a workout today. Tally-ho. Join me at the Tonal.
Maybe she should just do that for a workout, not a whole program.
No, it's got to be the whole program.
I
just the whole time people are like, what is happening?
No.
Did she have a stroke? Is this some sort of weird, why is she doing that? And then in the next one, just be like, hi.
Yeah, I don't think she's going to do that.
Oh.
This is just a feeling.
Coach Nicolette, you're no fun.
She's tons of fun. Don't you pick on her.
I could take her. She's British. How tough could she be?
Well, first of all, that is incredibly rude to all British people. And second of all, you cannot.
That's true.
She's really strong, honey. Have you seen the muscles on her? She posted on Instagram the other day that she had she was like, here's how to do dips. And then, which is like whenever you lower yourself using just your arms. And like her entire back was just like one amazing muscle. So do not mess with her.
No, clearly she's stronger than I am. Like, that's absolutely. So changing topics before I get myself in more trouble with Coach Nicolette.
That's a good idea.
She can clearly kick my ass, so I don't want to piss her off.
Right.
Regardless of whether or not she has an accent. There's a new challenge from Tonal.
There is. Okay, so it is called Tonal Gives Back. Also, whenever you do this challenge, the proceeds are going to go to an organization called Eat, Learn, and Play. So what's going to happen is that you get to take part in daily workouts. There's going to be weekly virtual group workouts, which I am super excited about.
Okay.
And you can win great prizes from the gear shop. And I am all about great prizes from the gear shop.
You are all about gear shops.
I am.
And then if you were to win something and it didn't cost anything, I would be all about that. So this challenge has merged our two interests in perfect synergy.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Well, this year, Tonal is raising money for like I said, Eat, Learn, and Play. The organization is committed to unlocking the potential of every child. They do this by fighting to end childhood hunger, ensuring that students have access to nutrition, quality education, and providing safe places for all children to play and be alive.
And that's even harder right now with all the COVID stuff going on, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you keep reading all this about so many kids were getting at least one, in some cases 2 meals a day at school. They'd get breakfast and lunch. And so...
And now on top of that, so many households have a food shortage.
Right.
Like, it's just compounding the problem. It's a really scary time.
Yeah.
It's a really scary time.
That's a great charity to partner up with.
It is. And so this challenge is going to run from December 11th through December 31st. What you do is you complete the workout of the day, and then you post it in the official Tonal community, and you use the hashtag Tonal Gives Back. So every time you do that, you earn one entry toward the grand prize, and then Tonal takes $1 and they donate it over to Eat, Learn, and Play.
Nice.
Yeah. There's also a bonus round. And that means every Saturday, there's going to be a virtual group workout at 9 a.m. Pacific. So for us, it's 11.
Okay.
It's a little, so I just want to mark your calendar.
Right.
Just be ready. And then Tonal will donate $5 for every participant that takes part. So that's like you're giving money away if you don't join. Because that's money that could literally be going to this organization to feed children. So $5, it's a lot. Okay. They're also going to have some special challenge days. They're going to double and maybe even triple donations for your precipitation.
Okay,
really?
If it rains.
If it rains.
Or snows.
Yeah, you never
Sleet,
know.
Any of that.
Participation. I don't even know where that came from. I'm reading the word.
Precipitation comes from the sky, honey. That's how that works.
And every Friday during the challenge, one participant
every fly day
will be randomly selected to win a prize from the Tonal Gear Shop. That's where I come in. And one grand prize winner is going to be selected randomly to win a Tonal accessory shelf. So very exciting.
Tonal had an interesting article about tonal data.
Yeah, so they brought up, they kind of like start this article off by bringing up the point that like they have super in-depth data about what works and what doesn't.
Right.
And this article was specific to talk about what happens with bench press strength.
Okay.
Lots of details. Okay, so one of the things that they found was that the optimum number of chest exercises to perform is 8 to 12 sets weekly. And they said it was really important to train your accessory muscle. So that's the muscle that helps the main muscle. So if your main muscle is your chest, one of the accessories muscles is your triceps.
Okay.
And that you should do at least 3 sets a week. And then they go on to go into a ton of details. So they talk about kind of how they got here. Mm-hmm. They set everything, kind of level set it. And then they talk about the bench press strength improvements for users over 12 weeks. And if you look at the graph that they provide in the article, you can see that it's kind of a curve. So people do a lot they see a lot of progress the first like 6 to 8 weeks, and then it starts to kind of taper off. Not that they're not still getting a lot of, bang for their buck, but it goes really fast that first 6 to 8 weeks.
Gotcha.
And then it's still happening, but it's not happening as fast over the next 12. So that's kind of interesting. They said that they're making steady progress over the first 12 weeks and that it'll slow down, but it's always going to go up. Interestingly, at least half of the users that they looked at made more progress than like what the average is on this graph. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Okay, so how do you get more strength gains? One of the ways you do that is finding that sweet spot for sets. So they looked at all the different ways that people work out, and they found that if you're working out too much, you actually decrease.
Interesting.
Yeah. And that's where they come up with that sweet spot of 8 to 12. So if you're doing like 15, 20 sets, that might be too much.
You're doing damage.
Yeah. You're actually going, you're going to see a decrease. They said that if they saw less improvement if you did less than 4 sets. So I wanted to make sure I read this correctly. The frequent actually have diminishing negative return over 12 sets per week. I just want to make sure I got that right. So it's kind of makes sense that like if you do fewer than 4,
sure,
okay, yeah, you're not really going to be having that much improvement. But I find it super fascinating that like when you do a whole bunch, you're actually getting negative returns.
Well, I guess, when the whole idea of strength training is it like tears a muscle, not tears it, but does...
It is ripping it. Yeah, you're right.
And then it heals stronger.
Right.
And if you're doing too many, it never gets a chance to heal stronger. You just keep agitating. You just quit picking at it.
That's a good point. Well, so then they were looking at the accessory muscle of triceps. So how often should people do that? They said that it's small, but there's going to be a noticeable difference after about 6 weeks. And they found that at least 3 sets of triceps isolation exercises, you can increase your bench press strength by over 8%. So like just doing 3 sets on your triceps, I mean, that's kind of crazy. 8%. If you really wanted to focus. Yeah. And then they go on to explain that using the chains mode will help you build explosive power. That when you're using it, that it will actually make your ability to push up that bench press, you'll be able to do it faster because you're using the chains. So it like kind of builds your strength the whole way through.
Right.
And so whenever you do want, like if you just did, as an example, if you were making a cartoon of it, you would have like a person kind of going real slow on chains, right? They're building. And then whenever they do like a one max set for a bench press, it would be like a really fast one compared to how slow they were doing it before. So that's your power, is how fast you're doing it.
Like when you swing 2 bats in the on deck circle, and then they would swing, like a lot of baseball players. They swing 2 bats, and then when they get up there, it feels lighter.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
I don't know much about sports, but I'm pretty sure they only let you use 1 bat at a time.
Yep, that's right,
funny
Tom.
That way.
You got that one.
So I'd be interested to see, because I know it's a fairly new thing. They probably don't have much data yet, but if chains make that much difference, I wonder what SmartFlex will do.
I agree with that question, but I also want to know, are they going to be doing this for the other body parts?
I bet they are.
I'm really excited to see it.
Yeah.
I mean, I think out of all the information that Tonal has released, this is probably my favorite because they are giving you very, very specific, do this, then this happens. And I love that.
For people in the Chicago area, there's now a Tonal store they can go to.
Yeah, it opened up. It's in Oak Brook, and my understanding is it opened mid-November. So that's pretty cool.
Just in time for the holidays. I'm sure that's no coincidence.
It can't be.
Yeah. And then we should also say congratulations to Dr. Liz.
No longer Coach Liz. She has elevated to Dr. Coach Liz. I mean, that's super exciting. November 20th, she officially passed her PhD defense. So it is done. That was the very last step that she had for her dissertation. And so now she is officially doctor.
Whenever I hear somebody talk about their PhD defense, in my head, I know it's not like this.
Okay.
In my head, it's the last scene of Flashdance.
I don't remember the last scene of Flashdance.
What? Where she walks into the room and it's a big empty classroom, and then the judges, or I'm sure they probably have a different name because they're teachers, but they're all
professors.
they're all at a table, and then they're like, dance, woman.
Do you think she danced her way through her defense?
I'm gonna go, since she got a PhD, I'm gonna say probably not.
Okay.
But I bet you she could if she wanted to.
I bet she could.
But that's how I picture it. And there was lots of wood grain in there. It was a very like upper crust snooty. And that's what I picture. I picture it like Flashdance.
Okay. Well, either way, congrats to Dr. Liz.
And even though I know she didn't dance, I am going to just assume she was wearing leg warmers.
I didn't see any in the picture, but I'll tell you what. Those gowns that they give for the PhD, pretty fancy.
After all that work, you should get a fancy gown when you walk.
You get the one with all the colors on it.
Yeah,
it's
nice. Get the tassels and stuff on the gown instead of just on the little hat.
Mm-hmm,
yeah,
mm-hmm. Way better than just a boring black gown.
Lisa Silverstein.
Yes.
Who is a listener.
She is a listener. She's a Peloton user. She's a listener of the Superset. She's a listener of the Clip Out.
Yeah.
And a friend.
She's very nice.
She is.
And she had an interesting blog post about Tonal.
Yeah. So Lisa explained that like she had been asked several times, like, what is up with the Tonal? Like, just tell me all the things. Like, they wanted to know. So she decided, you know what? I'm gonna write an article about it. And so I am not going to go into all the details here. You guys need to go read it for yourself. But I will tell you this. She is a trained dancer. She was also a performer. She's a certified yoga instructor. She runs a health and wellness company. And workout time is like one of the things that she does every day.
Right.
So she talks about what her life has been like from doing cardio all the time and really pushing being a strength training, like going into strength training and doing it seriously on a regular basis. And the results are stunning. And her aspect, the way she does it, the way she talks about it is great. Also, she kind of breaks down the cost benefit analysis of it. So that's always helpful for people who are looking into it. So,
and spoiler alert, it's beneficial.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So one, read this for yourself and tell Lisa what an awesome job she did. But also, if you have friends or family that are like, oh, that's so expensive, you need to point them to this article.
Right.
Because it will...
it'll walk them through why it makes sense.
Yep.
That it's not as expensive as you might think at first blush.
Exactly. And I might have overstated cost-benefit analysis. Let me just... it's not literally a cost-benefit analysis broken down in financial accountant like terms,
but she's going to run some numbers for you.
Yes. Just didn't want to have
don't want to mislead someone and have a CPA call you and be like, well, technically,
exactly.
I don't have glasses, but allow me to push them up. Technically, that wasn't a cost benefit analysis. And for those of you who can't get enough Tonal, there was a recent Tonal Talk.
Yeah, a recent one where Kate sat down with the Rockstar coaches from 305 Fitness.
Okay.
So those are the coaches who recently brought dance cardio to Tonal. They're the guest coaches for that. So you definitely want to check that out if you have not already.
And then there's also a Tonal Talk, which will be out by the time you hear this, but there's a brand new one.
Yeah. On December 9th, so that's, I believe, tomorrow,
Correct.
actually. Like you said, it'll already be up. So this is going to be a Tonal Talk with Michelle T. She is a mom of 3 who says that she lost herself while she was raising her children, but then she started her fitness journey. And she is now redefining the term mom bod. And I saw pictures and yeah, she is. Hello. And then she's also kind of challenging what a mother should look like. She's challenging that whole conversation. So Kate is going to sit down and talk to her as well. I'm very excited about that one. As a mom, that really, really speaks to me.
I bet.
New Tonal content.
Okay, so a whole bunch of new content since the last time we met. And I didn't add it to the list because it came out after I made the list, but I am calling audible. I have to call attention to Coach Allison's new booty program. So when she sat down and talked to us, she talked about how she was the booty whisperer, the booty builder.
Right.
And so now there is an entire program around building your booty.
And she said she was going to do that. It is here.
It is here. And I am super excited about it. And that is my next program. I've decided. Okay. But I also need to hit some of these other ones. One of the other ones I'm super excited about is Coach Pablo has one out called Shred and Sweat. And he scared me just with the intro of it because there was lots of sweating, and he created this challenge.
Put it right there in the title.
I know. And he created this challenge that like you're going to be doing cardio and all of the strength moves. So I feel like it's one of those like I'm picturing 4 weeks to fat loss with Action Jackson. Okay.
Yeah.
But like Coach Pablo style. And I have done one of Coach Pablo's Saturday boot camps, and I know how brutal that he can be with the cardio off the trainer. So I'm a little scared, but like also I know it's going to be amazing. I think it's going to be very, very effective when it comes to getting stronger, but also burning fat. So I'm very much looking forward to that. But there's more.
Wait, there's more. If you act now.
It's really cool because they have all this new family fitness content. They have added to that. So there's PE classes that are being released, Sports Savvy with Coach Paul, Athletic Action with Coach Paul. I think that is really cool. And in case you were just dying to know about even more, there's also a new mobility workout that Coach Nicolette did, and it focuses on your hips, your backs, your core, all of this, making it more mobile. So that is really great, especially I hear paired with the booty program. This is a really good one to pair with it because it helps you really stretch out all the areas that you just worked.
So your booty will be boosted and mobile. Nice. I'm looking forward to this.
So there was also a new program. This one is interesting. I want to call attention to this because it is a new beta program that Coach Paul is putting out. So get this, it's 2 weeks. It's only 2 weeks. Okay. And that's because this is a program that is focused on the live beta programming they've been working out. So I told you the last time we met, maybe it was 2 episodes ago, that they have a new beta where you're working out with the coach. Okay. And they're calling that live, and they're saying that it is their first step in making programs truly live. So this is the first live beta program. It's called Sweaty and Lean with Coach Paul, 4 times a week, but again, only 2 weeks. And you will be working out with Coach Paul. So like at the same time, instead of him just kind of talking you through the moves. Right. So this one is one to watch because this will kind of determine how they're going to move forward with other ones. Yeah. And it's interesting because like they're kind of inventing a whole new thing here, right? Like, right. Because like, referring back to Peloton, like spin classes have been around forever. I know they're not allowed to say the word spin. I get it, but that's essentially what they're doing. And so that's kind of an accepted paradigm that people are used to, and it's established in how it kind of performs. But like, you can't really have classes of weight training for 15 or 20 people because who's got that? Gyms aren't going to have that many weights that everybody could be doing the same move at once. And so no one's ever really laid anything like that out before. Not on this level. I mean, they did, just because I know we're going to have people come back and say that's not necessarily true. They had like bodybuilding, not bodybuilding programs, but they had, I can't remember the name of it, but you would go in and do like sculpting classes where you would kind of focus on the music and do the weights at the same time. Right. And they used bars, like it was an actual barbell. And I used to do that a million years ago at like a local gym, whatever it's called, Club Fitness or whatever. Gotcha. And so they use that particular program that's like nationwide. I can't remember the name of it, but whatever it's called, it's it's known in local gyms everywhere.
Gotcha.
However, what's different here is bringing it to the screen, because when you're adding in that production element of it, that makes things a lot more complicated, because you have so many different levels and abilities of doing things. Whereas when you're in a class, you can kind of talk to people when you're standing there with them, like, do you have any injuries I need to worry about? Do you need to go slower? Here's how you modify. It's harder to do that with weights than it is on a bike.
Sure.
And so that's what I think that Tonal has been really trying to perfect as they bring this forward. So I'm very interested to see how this one turns out.
And then finally, there's something new for people who want to build strength.
Yeah. So we were talking about Coach Liz earlier, who's now Dr. Coach Liz.
Dr. Coach Liz to you.
She has a new program specific for beginners. So it's called Slow and Strong, and it focuses on slow tempos, proper form, and mastery of the big lift. So that's really important for people who are just starting out, because of all the things I was talking about at the beginning of the show.
Right, yeah.
I had not mastered proper form. And so I wasn't necessarily, I was going harder than I should have.
Right.
And not doing it well. So this will keep you from doing that. You definitely want to take this if you are newer to Tonal. And I'm sure it's beneficial for anybody. So don't feel like you can't take it if you've already been tonaling for a while.
And then Coach Nicolette has a walking challenge.
Yeah. So the entire month of December, I just thought this was fun. I like seeing what our coaches do.
Yeah.
She has a challenge that she put together, and she announced it on her Instagram. So what's going to happen is every day, and it's already started, every day in December, you walk 2 miles a day, walk or run. And she would prefer you to do it outdoors, which is hard to do sometimes.
Especially depending on where you might live.
Exactly. But the idea is you walk 2 miles a day or run 2 miles a day, and then add her on Instagram. And then she can help you become accountable. So if you have questions, if you're not sure how to fill it out, like fill out a calendar, to make yourself accountable, she'll help you with that. And then she made a calendar that you can use. And the best part is that if you add her on Spotify, then she is going to be adding a song each day. So by the end of the challenge, you will have 31 new songs on your playlist.
How about that?
Playlist made for you by Coach Nicolette. So I think that's just a really cool, fun challenge. And I'm sure she wouldn't mind if you started late. I'm sure she would still love to have you.
Sure.
It's just a great thing to do.
You're just going to have to walk 8 miles a day.
Yeah. Well, you got to do what you got to do. She's not going to make you walk 8 miles a day.
She can't make you.
It's great in combination, especially if you have somebody who's not doing other things like Peloton or whatever. This is a great way to add in some extra work.
Right.
But that's low impact. It can be low impact. This is really good for people. And
then finally, there was a fun post about Coach Pablo teaching Coach Jackson how to dance.
So I thought that this would be kind of fun to share, but Coach Jackson is getting married, and his fiance, Anya, posted this in the official Tonal community. Coach Pablo came over to teach Coach Jackson how to dance for their wedding.
Yeah, you can see who it comes naturally to.
Yeah.
And
which in
it does not.
In his defense would be me. It's not like it comes well to everybody.
Yeah.
That doesn't work for everybody.
No, totally, yeah. We all have our skills.
But in case anybody happened to miss it, I just wanted to share.
Yeah, and if you're listening to the episode, you can see the video on their Facebook, or you can watch it in the video that we post, because all of these are video episodes, and you can see them at youtube.com/theclipout, which is, we have everything under that umbrella on our YouTube channel, which is our Peloton podcast, but you can find these videos there as well.
Yes. There's a whole separate playlist just for the superset.
Checking in with the Tonal community.
So joining us today via the magic of ZoomTube is Stacy Kurucz. Hey, Stacy, how's it going?
Hi, great. How are you guys?
Good. So, we're here to talk all about Tonal, and you posted an intriguing post. I thought it was intriguing about your NPC figure competition, and you talked about how Tonal helped you prepare for that. And my first question for you is, what is a figure competition?
Oh, sure. So a figure competition is it's an event where there's very different classes of people, men and women, that are judged based upon their physique, and they're looked at their balance and their muscularity, and by a panel of judges. And in the end, you're ranked, placed, and awarded whatever based on your just overall physique.
Okay.
So I compete in the level at figure. There's bikini class. Then above that is figure class. And the differences are usually based upon muscularity, maybe muscle striation, and just a different overall look. So above figure is physique class. Above that is women's bodybuilding.
Okay.
So the biggest, strongest looking is the bodybuilders, the physique class, figure class, and bikini class.
Okay.
Okay. So is that like kind of a stair stepping, like you aspire to the next class, or do some people just like, no, I just want to be in this class, but I want to be the best I can in this class?
That's a good point. And our question in that, is is there an evolution or not? Honestly, it kind of goes with what your own physique goals are, mm-hmm. and where you'd like to live in. Most people that compete stay in that area that they choose off the bat. Like bikini class, they usually have a certain look, and that's what they aspire to. And same with all the other ones. It takes years and years of training to have the musculature of, say, any of them really, but especially like bodybuilding or physique class. That's a lot of muscle work that goes into that. The reason I choose figure is because it just really goes along with my kind of own goals as to what I like my physique to look like. So everyone is different. Sure. You can cross over between different events if you want to, into different classes.
So how did you get involved with that? Like, what inspired you?
Oh, well, woman dreads the big 4-0, right? So, yeah. So I was, I'd been a bit of a gym rat on and off throughout my life. And after I'd had the third kid and finished anesthesia residency and things, it was kind of like, I really have been into the gym. I did some research as to what is the most effective way to lose body fat and to have an efficient fitness program. And what I discovered was it's resistance training, weight training, and maybe with combination of a little cardio. So I kind of had gone down that path. And in doing that, I was using some resources like bodybuilding.com and some different fitness apps, and would spend some time in the gym. And I just was really motivated by these strong women that I would see in advertisements and doing these competitions. And like, I want to look like that. That's like so sick. And so I was like, shoot, I'm about to hit 40. I want picture proof that, mom was on it at that age. So what the hell? I just do it. And I think for me in my professional life, because I work full time, it's like I'm pretty confident in my day-to-day job. I have to be kind of like on top of things. And yet in my personal life, I had a little body image issues. Like I had some self-confidence problems with certain aspects of my physique. And I am a little nervous in front of people, especially on a stage. I'm terrified. And you put me in a swimsuit, screw that. It's terrifying. So to face down those fears and get out there and do something that's totally out of my comfort zone was going to be, a tell-all moment, right? Like, here's my come to Jesus. I'm going to do this thing. And hopefully I don't wreck. And it's cool. And so that's what I did. And I tell you what, after doing my first show, I was riding a wave of high for a really long time of like, shit, I just is an ass kicker. I did that thing.
So how did you do in your first show?
Well, I didn't wreck. I tell you. So I brought my husband was like, you should put your suit on. I'm like, I don't put my suit on. He's like, well, I'd like to see you in your suit. He's like, no, anyway. But so these are the shoes that you wear. And I know, I guess if you're listening, you wear like some 4-inch plastic shoes. I mean, honestly, they're optional, but everybody does this. And so to walk in that can be a catastrophe. So
yeah.
Yeah.
Those are some heels. So what is there a logic to why they want people to wear those heels?
Well, that's it. Yeah, it's basically because it kind of puts things up where they look the best.
Okay. I didn't know if like the creator of the contest like had a fetish or what that was about.
No, I think it's kind of just us women tend to feel like I don't know.
I think it shows off like your leg muscles and it shows off like your butt. Like it lifts everything up on your posterior chain.
Yeah. It's like I said, it puts things up where they look the best. So.
Gotcha. So you were talking about dreading the big 4-0, but man, I would think that if there's anything you dread more than aging, it's inviting a panel of people to judge your physical appearance.
That's
sure.
Wow.
Yeah. That's
very brave.
Awful. That's awful. Yeah. That's what I was like, you know what? I shouldn't have. I'm 40 years old. Well, now I'm 43. It's like I do these things and because like I said, in my normal life, I'm very confident and I work out and strong. Why I shouldn't feel like I'm not worthy or I'm not great. I should be able to just kind of face down things like no big deal. And those are really two of my weaknesses is people judging me in a swimsuit, being on a stage. That's like really like, not cool, but you get out there and you do it. And I have friends that do these shows and it's the opposite. They're like very in control. They love the spotlight. They feel like they're best. They're most glamorous. I'm not there yet. I get out there like, oh shit, here I
go. So when you decided to start doing this and you wanted to face this down, you said that you were riding a high after your first competition. Like, do you think it's helped with your overall self-esteem in general?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, absolutely. Because it's like, it's not that deep. And I'll tell you what, when you're backstage with these women, and it's pretty like, impersonal. You're back there, especially with the spray tanning, where there's no hiding anything. You're getting painted, right?
Right.
And you're with all these gorgeous women that are absolutely perfect. Like, I mean, I've never been around more stronger, more just physical specimens of humanity ever. And everybody has a story. Everybody has things they hate about themselves or wish they could be better. And it's kind of like, why are we so hard on ourselves? Like, well, no, if I feel this way and this one feels that way, well, flush it. We're all great. What's the big deal? So that's kind of good to see too, is just to be around in that environment and realize that, it's not that deep. We're all just people. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So then how did you find Tonal? How did Tonal end up in your workout regimen?
Yeah. So I was my husband and I work out together a lot, and it's a great stress release for both of us. We have pretty stressful jobs, and our gym was going to be closing in March, and we were going to be in between gyms. And I had a show on the calendar for end of May, so I was like, "What are we going to do?" And COVID was lurking too. So my husband got online and he was like, let's do a home gym. He found Tonal and was like, we're getting this. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. We knew nothing about it. We've been Peloton people. And it was like, okay, what's the most efficient way?
You ride with Cody, don't you?
Oh, sometimes. Yeah.
That's her superpower. She'll guess who your favorite instructor is.
Well, she said it's not that deep.
Matt Wilpers, I like, and see Christine Dirkley's too. I do a lot of power zone endurance. Or if I do, I don't do a lot of cardio. My husband though, he rides every day. He's got, I don't know, he always hits these like crazy mileage.
Awesome.
But I do, yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm a Peloton person. So it's like, what's the most efficient gym system we can get bang for the buck? And Tonal, hands down. So I was very I was kind of skeptical. I thought, I don't know, I'm a bit of free weight. I like to be in the gym atmosphere, and it's kind of motivating to have to get up and go somewhere, and there's mirrors around you and people. It's going to kind of keep you on track. Oh no. Ever since we've had the Tonal, I mean, I still do the gym once in a while. I teach a TRX class. And so I'm at the gym once in a while, but nowhere near like I used to be. This prep that I've done for this show was nearly exclusively Tonal.
Wow.
Interesting.
Wow.
Yeah.
So has it changed your workout routine then, having the tonal versus going to the gym?
Well, I still do the same body split that I used to do, but I found that the programs that Tonal has are really inclusive of everything that I was doing already. So I would just do my same workouts. I would just try to pick programs that coincided with my body split that I was kind of working. And then I would just fill in on if there was little things that maybe I was missing, like obviously us ladies do a lot of glutes. I would kind of work that in. And the nice thing with Tonal is that we do the partner workouts. So Marcus and I can do our workout as the partner workouts and do the programs. And instead of doing like a 4-day split, we would change it into a 5 or 6 day split.
That's awesome. I love that. Wow. So you're using the programs, and so you're not necessarily creating your own then.
I did create my own, and I've used them a few times, but I like the coaching. Yeah. I like that really forces that mind muscle connection when they're talking to you as you're working out. And honestly, that is really beneficial. And a lot of mornings, we tend to work out in the mornings because the kids are sleeping, and you can get your lift in. Obviously there's a lot of science as to, you should work out in the afternoon, blah, blah, blah. But with our lives, it just would work out to the best to get it in the morning. And so we would work out together and do that thing in the morning. And my husband and I really like the programs because it's honestly, they're just all about it. You get the mobility, you get the coaching, and not, like I just said, they keep that mind muscle connection firing when you're maybe not so awake at 5 a.m. and focused, Yes. So that's really beneficial. I think that is an additive beyond just going and lifting weights.
I agree with that. I think a lot of people, especially people who are so used to doing their own programs and doing free weights, I think sometimes they come into it with the mindset of, I don't need to do that piece of it. And like the in-between cool down, the in-between like rests that they do that are still a movement, but it's like a little bit of a rest. So many people skip that. And I think that's a real shame, because I think that the way that the programs are made is to help people counterbalance and to make sure that it's very rounded, very fully rounded for the entire body. So I think that that's a really good point that you make.
Well, those interset stretching, it's very beneficial. That's statistically proven, and they throw that in there. And then too, sometimes when he's doing a set and it's a double bilateral sided type of thing, I have time where I've had not only rested, but maybe I can do some other movement, like either body weight or maybe with like bands, like some glute bridges or walking lunges with bands or something that I can work in and still get like an additive that's in my program that maybe is not programmed by Tonal, and it doesn't really take away our time. So it's so efficient, and we just love it. And plus we got our music going, and the kids are, it's just perfect. So it's just really beneficial. I love it. We're big proponents.
Do you find it difficult to do the moves while wearing the heels? Is that...
Well, we do the partner workouts. So just think how my husband has trouble.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
Well, just finding the heels, probably.
So does he...
Those heels come out just once a year.
So does he compete or anything like that? Or is it just something you do?
No, it's just something I do. It's not in his interest group, but he likes to work out with me, so that's fun.
That's awesome.
Absolutely.
I have a question about your strength score. So I'm always kind of fascinated. Since you've been lifting before you moved to Tonal, did you start with like a super crazy high strength score?
Well, I researched this today because I'm curious. You see your growth, and I love the stats, and I think you'll find that bodybuilders are like the original biohackers. We track everything. We track our water, our steps, our waist, our weight, our sleep, our food, every macro. Everything is tracked and kept a log of. And Tonal is awesome because it tracks all that too. So I started with a strength score of around 370. And today I hit 720.
Wow.
Is where I'm running right now. I bet I have an easy Tonal.
I don't think it works like that. I don't think so. So you've only been doing this since April? So that's
so just over 6 months. Yeah,
wow.
I'm at 720.
That's incredible.
And so I also have, I mean, like I said, we track our weight. I have a smart scale, which I mean, obviously it's not like the most accurate biometrics and stuff, but I've added a good 2.5 pounds of muscle from when I started with Tonal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's been great.
It wasn't like you came in as a schlub, you know what I mean? Like you, yeah. Like
I was a total schlub. Yes.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's what I'm saying. You hit the ground running. Like some people start, like it's like, well, I guess I'll try this thing, and I bought a machine, and I'm going to give it a shot.
Right.
Where you were already super fit. Yeah.
How do I do a side lateral lunge with?
Yeah.
No idea.
I mean, you know.
Yeah. No. Yes.
It's like whenever you start and you've never done anything like that before. I mean, I certainly would consider myself that. It's like I've worked out, but I was always cardio. Like you were saying about Peloton. I've had Peloton forever, but you know, getting the Tonal was like a whole new world. I'd never done strength before on a regular basis, and so I was definitely a schlub. And
we all know I'm a schlub. I'm not anti-schlub.
No,
just to be. Or if there's any schlubs who are offended, I'm one
the
of you.
Anti-cardio queen. No, sorry, it's not me.
No, I totally get that.
I aspire to that maybe someday.
No, I mean, what works is working. I'm curious about your macros too, because you said you track your macros, and just like I was doing Stronger You for a while, where you track like how many. Okay, so like I'm really curious how many macros. What is your macro split for a day? Because I feel like you probably can eat 1 billion calories.
Yeah. Oh, I can, and I'm a good eater. I really love to eat. That's why this is perfect for me, because you got to feed your muscles, right? I was with Coach Jackson, and he named his biceps, and I thought it was funny because I've done the same thing a few years ago.
Wait, what are your biceps? What are your biceps names?
Willie and Nelson, of course.
Of course.
Well, so with right now, I'm still cutting a little bit because I didn't hit quite where I wanted to. For my last show, a week ago was my show. So I'm still, my body finally kind of caught on. So I'm still kind of cutting. So right now I'm running around 1,500 calories, more like 1,400 calories. But on my off season, I'm around 1,800 to 2,200 easily, you know, and it's, I don't do any fancy diets. It's not like it's any kind of labeled diet. It's just clean food. It's just like lean meats, vegetables, fruits, some simple starches. Everybody's body is different as to how it best relates to certain foods. I'm not real tolerant of a lot of beans. I won't tell you what happens with that, and I'm not real tolerant to like a lot of grains. So I just get it simple. It's oats, rice, and then fruits and vegetables and lean meat.
Awesome. That's fabulous.
Yeah. I think if people are kind of wanting to know like how to get going and something like this, it's really beneficial to get a coach.
Okay.
I didn't know a lot about the sport at all, and I didn't really know the science behind eating and the diet. So I think to find somebody that is really versed in that, and like nutrition certified and stuff, that helped me a lot, and I've learned a lot about my own body and kind of like how I evolve and how best during a prep. I can slowly lose that body fat and still try to maintain some muscle mass. Yeah. Because you're going to lose a little bit of both as you're cutting, but you definitely want to try to hold on to that muscle mass and get rid of the fat the best you can throughout your prep.
And then, cutting is just like trying to get leaner, correct?
Yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
And get the body tighter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're getting the muscles to push up against the skin and reveal the muscle mass that you have there. So you want to have muscle to start, and putting that muscle on in your off season is important. And then I always tend to do like a 12-week prep. So a nice, gentle, easy cut into a show.
Wow.
Okay. Are you, Crystal, are you trying to figure out what you're going to name your biceps? Are you coming up with names?
No. when they show up, then I'll think about naming them. I mean, they're kind of there, but they're like babies, you know. When they get to be like toddlers, we'll talk about it.
Well, my 8-year-old, she's already named hers Tom and Jerry. So.
Oh, that's awesome. Wait, the cartoon, or is it for the cartoon? Okay.
Maybe she said Ben and Jerry's.
I was like, wait.
I was like, hey, man, that kid likes the classics. That's
I know,
good.
right?
She does.
And the
yeah,
8-year-old will like Tom and Jerry. That's old school, man.
Yeah. I don't think our kids ever went through a Tom and Jerry phase.
No, Brian went through a old school black and white Mickey Mouse phase, though.
Okay.
He watched all
those
the.
are cool.
And it's like, oh, it's so cute that he likes the old school black and white Mickey Mouse, and then you're just like, oh, geez, that's kind of racist. We need to
let's get you caught up to the new ones.
Hey, Brian, we need to have a talk about race. I know you're 4, but you just committed a hate crime, and we have to have a talk.
So funny how TV has evolved over the years. Oh, that's awesome. So you said that you didn't do quite as well as you wanted to on your show, like not where you want to be, but you did well on your show, right?
Yeah, I did well. I didn't fall. I did my posing. I did well. And I came in, like I said, with more muscle mass than I've had before. I felt like my physique was more balanced than I've had before, but I wish I'd have been a little leaner and taken a little bit of more body fat off. I think it's hard for a lot of people in just everyday life right now during these times.
Yeah.
There's so much stress. We're under just so much stress. And especially women, cortisol is such a big component of fat loss. I mean, it's really hard to lose fat if you're combating high levels of cortisol.
That's my problem. It's a lot of, right. The whole world is so stressed right now. For real though, you're right. That is a big factor.
So if our bodies are under this like constant, you're about to be eaten by a tiger level of stress, well, you're going to keep those reserves. You're not going to be able to, just kind of gracefully shed that. It's going to hang on. And so that was definitely an issue with me. It was just like a hard thing to deal with, e-learning and work and, just all this stuff, all the noise that's around.
Yes.
And to be able to, you think it's cool to like people say, oh, I got 5 hours of sleep and I'm good and I can go on that. No, that's when you need your sleep, you need your rest, you need recovery. And I think when you're under constant stress, it's really hard to do. And that was something I fought this season. So plus this fall, I'm a Norwegian, grew up in Minnesota. My body this time of year is like, no, winter's coming. What are you doing?
Let's pack on that pounds.
It's like, there's Halloween candy to be had. And so that was a new thing for me too. As I was going to show, I usually show in the spring to get summer ready. I like to do a lot of water sports with my kids. If you look at my Facebook or Instagram, there's a ton of pictures of us surfing, and there's my teenage daughter put some really great pictures of me crashing numerous times. Like it's like so it's a good way to get ready for summer. I call it my spring cleaning. I just do one show a year, but of course that got canceled, delayed throughout the summer. Then I finally made a show then last weekend. So that was a new thing, trying to do a show for my body in the fall when I'm like gearing up for winter.
Yeah.
Also, if they kept delaying it, it's also hard to stay in that mode that long.
Yeah. I wasn't real successful at that every day.
I don't know. I saw your pictures. I think you were very successful. I think that's you being hard on yourself, but that's just me.
Well, thank you. I'm not pro level. I'll just throw that disclaimer out there. I just am very amateur hobby thing. But I'm aspiring to get, every year it's like getting better. So you never know.
Well, I have a lot of respect for you taking that on, especially, I kind of had that same thought process as I turned 40 and started doing things that were kind of big and outside my comfort zone. For me, it was running and a half marathon. And then this year, whenever I turned 42, I did an entire marathon on my tread. I have that same thought process of like, I want to do things that will make me feel like I'm not old and this is the end of my life. So I really respect that. And I feel that same thought. I feel like a we have a bond there.
A kindred spirit.
Absolutely.
Kindred spirit. Yes.
Yeah.
I guess I get in shape my own way when I turned 40 then. Because that's when I got divorced.
Oh yeah. You had your own your own diet plan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
And it kept getting delayed. It took me a full year. So how did you come across just this network of competitions? Because like I've never really seen anything like advertised for that, at least around where we live.
Yeah.
And so I'm just wondering how that came up on your radar as even an option to like for a road to go down.
Right. Well, I hadn't ever seen one. I had never been to one, or again, like you, I haven't ever heard one advertised. But yeah, back in the day when you could go to the gym, I was going to the gym pretty regular and there every morning with the early birds and the meatheads, right? The big dudes that you get that gym intimidation from, because you're like, oh God, they're going to yell at me for moving something and doing something wrong. And in fact, they were very accepting and I think got used to me. I was in there all the time with them, and they kind of like became like, okay, well, she's just going to stick it out. I can't just scare her off. One of them said to me one day, "Are you training for a competition?" And I was like, "No, I'm just here to try to get fit." And he was like, "You should do one." And then, huffed off. And I like wonder what that's all about. And so I started doing some research. And like I said, I looked on different advertisements you come across on like bodybuilding.com or different apps or MyFitnessPal. And you're like, God, that's so cool. Yeah, I'll do that. I'll look into that. And so come to find out, they're everywhere. They really are.
Really?
Like, oh yeah, every state has them. So the ones I've been doing are up in Indianapolis, which is about an hour and a half. Well, no more than that, 2.5 hours away from where I live. But you can find them every state, everywhere. Yeah, they're there. So go for it.
I was just thinking, I'm like, oh, I probably never saw them because they're very good at their target marketing.
Yeah.
They know I'm not the target.
I think they knew, Tom. They knew you weren't going to do.
But for real, when you said you saw
there's a secret invitation.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's called They Don't Hang Up Their Flyers at Baskin Robbins. But no, when you said you saw an ad in your MyFitnessPal app, I bet you they do like. I never thought about it. Just the marketing guy in me is going crazy now. Like, I bet you they have like, okay, show this ad, but only to people that have like
macro tracking on.
Or a certain percentage of body fat or what, you know what I mean? Like, so they only show it to people at a certain level.
Well,
I don't know. That's that. I know, like, when I
came across it.
I just know, like, when I advertise concerts, I can be like, okay, like, I'll only show this to people who have expressed interest in Styx, Boston, and Van Halen, or whatever. And so,
well, like, I think what's very what really sells are the before and after pictures. You look at these comparison pictures of people, and it's like, whoa, how did they do that? I want to do that.
Yeah,
and that's really motivating. Whether it's to the stage level, pro level, or just everyday life, people. I mean, it is really motivating. So I think that definitely is where they're targeting. It's an eye getter. And you see people. I wish I just don't have a lot of pictures. I didn't take any. I was always the picture taker. I'm the mom.
Yeah.
And plus, I didn't want to be in the pictures most of the times anyway. So that I don't have any really good comparison pictures. Or maybe I do. I just don't want to look at them.
See, this is how I feel about people that are always like, oh, I don't want to get my picture taken. You should absolutely let your picture get taken, because here's why. There's two reasons. You're either going to gain weight or you're going to lose weight. And if you lose weight, you'll be like, oh, look how much better I look now. And if you gain weight, you won't feel bad about those pictures anymore, because now you look good at them.
Yeah. Well,
Tom's
so with
pregnant.
like I said, I use a coach, and you have to check in once a week, and you have to take your pictures in your swimsuit, in your heels, and in your posing. And typically, like I said, I do my shows in the spring. So this is in January and February after, a really good season of eating. And I live somewhere where there's not a lot of sun, so it's not the skin color is like really white, and it's like, it's not real attractive. And to have to take those pictures, this is humbling.
I'm curious how much like, what do you think the split is between the workouts and the eating clean for preparing for these competitions? Like,
yeah,
is that a 50-50?
You have to put a lot of emphasis into the diet. You really do. It's not something it's going to show if you don't.
Because it's like you could probably only work out 4 days a week, but if you're not eating properly, then it doesn't really matter, right? I mean, you can undo all of your progress. You might still be gaining the muscle, but you're not going to be able to see it, right?
Yeah, it's not going to reveal, right? Yeah. The diet's very important, and you have to. Yeah, and personally, my body at my age with my metabolism, whatever it is, it's I have to be very careful of, like, especially even dining out. There's like oils and additives. You have to really get savvy as to reading labels. And I think for people that are interested, like I said, like kind of getting into this or maybe just trying to get a better overall physique, is I would recommend starting with the basic stuff. Look at the labels, look at like palm oil, these different soils, sunflower oil, these different additives in our foods. Even a thing of peanut butter, you take a look at the stuff that's in that, it's pretty revealing. So just going back to very simple foods, you just cook butter, maybe some or olive oil, just the fats, whatever's in the proteins, throw in your vegetables, and just keep it really simple. Will make a huge difference whether you're going to track your macros or not. I mean, that on just itself, just things that come in wrappers, guarantee you look at the labels, there's going to be some alarming additives.
Don't you ever get like, I don't want to track anymore. I don't want to focus on it anymore. Do you ever feel like that? What do you do when you feel like that?
Well, you can always fall back to watching your portion sizes. But honestly, the scale will show you when you've not been tracking pretty quickly. Because it's pretty easy for me to kind of underestimate how much a portion is. And so I've been doing it long enough to be that skillful that I can like really judge looking at something exactly like that's this many ounces or this many grams. So it's just easier for me to try to just keep weighing everything. So a food scale is really helpful. I'm not that obnoxious that I take it out to eat dinner. I weigh all my meals out.
But you have that superpower now. You can still get it and tell.
Be like,
well, I'm getting there. I'm aspiring to that. Yeah.
I can do that with ticket stock. If
That's true.
Hold up a stack of tickets, I can tell you how many are in it.
It's true.
Yeah, it's completely useless talent. But I can do it. So, do you have like a favorite tonal content or program that you've taken over your time with Tonal?
Well, I really, we've done a total of 9 programs since April. And so around 180 some workouts, because like I said, we throw in some additional workouts, just standalones. And I think for my favorite has been Go Big or Go Home was a really good one. Extreme Strength with Coach Paul was really, really good. And we went through quite a few of them. Coach Nicolette has some fantastic programs too. And then sprinkle in some of Coach Francis's yogas, and you really can find some great muscle building workouts. Let's see, I did Raising the Barbell, Go Big or Go Home, Extreme Strength, Body Blitz, Muscle Building Burnout. I have them all memorized. Actually, I'm reading them off this paper.
I was like, wow, you really do take this serious.
Power to the Max, Making Muscle, Time, Tone and Strengthen. And now, right now, we're doing Pablo's Radical Muscle Rock.
Are you loving that one? I just finished that one.
It's fun. Yeah, it's good. And I mean, really, you can push yourself. Today, I did my first Tony Horton workout.
How was that?
It was great. And so, I mean, like kind of like how he really talks about slowing it down, holding the isolation, coming in eccentric modes, chain modes, all that stuff that was in these other programs too. That is so beneficial. And you can really get a lot out of any of them by just really kind of focusing on what you're doing, taking time in each of the move with good form, and benefiting from concentric and eccentric modes. So I recommend any of them. Anything you like that sings your song, is your jam, it's going to work. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Awesome. Well, I I guess that's all we got. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to join us. Before we go, like, where can you be found on the interwebs if you would like to be found?
Well, I'm on Facebook. It's Stacy Kurucz, and I'm on Instagram. It's stacy.kurucz on Instagram. So yeah, if people have questions, they want to send them to me. I'm not real tech savvy, so I'll answer people's questions and stuff. And I'm totally team Tonal, and these, all of us ladies out there that are grinding and kicking some fanny. It's awesome. I'm all about the strong ladies. So if people want to reach out, I'm here.
That's awesome. I really love your attitude about, turning 40 and continuing on with awesome, great things. And you're clearly kicking ass. So continue.
Thank you much. All right. Everybody keep kicking ass.
You have a good rest of your day.
You too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
So I guess that brings this episode to an end.
It does.
Until next time, where can people find you?
People can find me at facebook.com/Crystal D. O'Keefe, and they can find me on, Instagram and Twitter at ClipOutCrystal. Sorry, I kind of blinked out there for a second.
It happens.
So where am I?
And you can find me on Twitter at Roger Kubert or on Facebook at facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. You can find the show online at facebook.com/Superset Podcast. While you're there, like the page, join the group, and wherever you're getting your podcast from, be sure and subscribe so you never miss an episode. So that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, keep lifting.
Smart training, there you are. Customize, make it right. AI, form and vibe. Superset will show you what it's all about. It's a tonal workout.
The Superset is made possible in part by support from Tonal.